Hello, hello, welcome. Just trying to tap, send out the likes so we can get some more people in here before I get started. Okay. Whew. Welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we're on chapter 5. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Today we're on chapter 5. I am starting to upload all the live sessions onto YouTube. It's under my screen name, Maymay TV, but I have been told, and even when I try to search myself, I don't know, it's kind of weird. So, but if you search online, YouTube, Maymay TV, you'll find it. Apparently there's another page out there, channel out there under a similar name. So I have to figure out how to make it easier, more direct, where you can just put youtube.com/MaymayTV, but right now you can't. So, but I am starting to upload them on there just so if you miss something, if you want to rewatch something, you can go back. And I'm thinking that I'm going to do some chapters, like just record them and read them and kind of talk about it and post it, and not just on here, because otherwise it's going to take forever to get through the book. So yeah, so like I'll still try to pop on here pretty much every day at 10 a.m. To discuss the chapters with y'all, but I'm also going to do it separately. So for example, I'll do chapter 5 online with y'all, but then when I do have extra time, I'm just gonna record it and not do it on live, if that makes sense. But like I said, it'll be still on YouTube, so you won't be missing anything either, if you're into the book and the chapters and all that. Okay, so I'm going to get started. I'm a little bit tired because I've been really good at being consistent for the past few days as far as coming on here around 10 o'clock. And then I figured I'd squeeze in gym time between the early morning when I get the kids ready for school and the time I do live reading around 10. That little gap of time between, I'm trying to start going to the gym. So I went to the gym and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm pushing myself too much. I'm not trying to burn myself out, but I'm also trying to challenge myself because I want to incorporate these good habits, right? So regular reading and going to the gym. I haven't gone to the gym in like a few weeks, maybe a couple months, but I'm going to start going regularly again. And I figured, like I said, that gap of time is kind of undisturbed. So I'm a little tired. I'm still adjusting. But I didn't want to make the excuse of being so tired that I wasn't going to pop on here. So here I am. All right, chapter 5 in Atomic Habits by James Clear. The best way to start a new habit. In 2001, researchers in Great Britain began working with 248 people to build better exercise habits over the course of 2 weeks. The subjects were divided into 3 groups. Wasn't I just talking about working out? And the first sentence is talking about exercising. Crazy, right? And thank y'all for popping in and hanging out with me. So far, it's been pretty good, positive vibes. Everyone's been pretty supportive. As I always say, Feel free to ask questions and, you know, be involved in conversation. I love it. You know, like I said, it's been real good where whether or not we agree, disagree, it's all been good conversation and helpful, right? So the first group was the control group. They were simply asked to track how often they exercise. The second group was the motivation group. They were asked not only to track their workouts, but also to read some material on the benefits of exercise. The researchers also explained to the group how exercise could reduce the risk of coronary heart disease and improve heart health. Finally, there was the third group. These subjects received the same presentation Finally, there was the third group. These subjects received the same presentation as the second group, which ensured that they had equal levels of motivation. However, they were also asked to formulate a plan for when and where they would exercise over the following week. Specifically, each member of the third group completed the following sentence. During the next week, I will partake in at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise on blank day at blank time in blank place. So I guess it's just a little more specific. So the first was the control group. They were just supposed to track how often they exercise. The second one was the motivation group, and they were just incorporating some like material, research, yada, yada, yada. The third one had all that same thing as group 2, but the only thing is they were also asked to be a little bit more specific in their plans with their workout. In the first and second groups, 35 to 38% of people exercised at least once per week. Good morning. Welcome, Sarah and everybody. So the first and second, they were 35 to 38% of people exercised at least once per week. Interestingly, the motivational presentation given to the second group seemed to have no meaningful impact on their behavior. But 91% of the third group exercised at least once per week, more than double the normal rate. The sentence they filled out is what researchers refer to as an implementation intention, which is a plan you make beforehand about when and where to act. That is how you intend to implement a particular habit. So again, just being a little bit more specific than just saying, I want to start working out, or I want to lose weight, or I want to do this goal. So that third group, you know, not only did they have the specific goal to work out, but they had the specifics of when, what time, and where. The cues that can trigger a habit come in a wide range of forms. The feel of your phone buzzing in your pocket, the smell of chocolate chip cookies, the sound of ambulance sirens. But the two most common cues are time and location. Implementation intentions leverage both of these cues. Thank you, Lewis McCoy, for your gift. Broadly speaking, the format for creating an implementation intention is, when situation X arises, I will perform response Y. The hundreds of studies have shown that implementation intentions are effective for sticking to our goals. Whether it's writing down the exact time and date of when you will get a flu shot or recording the time of your colonoscopy appointment, they increase the odds that people will stick with habits like recycling, studying, going to sleep early, and stopping smoking. Which makes sense. I mean, it's kind of like saying, like in this example, like, next week, what was our example? Colonoscopy, a flu shot. Let's say the flu shot, okay? I'm like, I don't want to talk about colonoscopy. Flu shot. So instead of saying, I'll get the flu shot sometime this week. Okay, well, you might get to that, hopefully. Or you could have the actual specifics of, I'm going to set my appointment and get the flu shot Friday at 2 o'clock. Just naturally, you're going to be a lot more likely to get it done, right? Researchers have even found that voter turnout increases when people are forced to create implementation intentions by answering questions like, what route are you taking to the polling station? At what time are you planning to go? What bus will you get there? Other successful government programs have prompted citizens to make a clear plan to send taxes in on time or provide directions on when and where to pay late traffic bills. The punchline is clear. People who make a specific plan for and where they will perform a new habit are more likely to follow through. Too many people try to change their habits without these basic details figured out. We tell ourselves, I'm going to eat healthier, or I'm going to write more. But we never say when and where these habits are going to happen. We leave it up to chance and hope that we will just remember to do it or feel motivated at the right time. An implementation intention sweeps away foggy notions like, I want to work out more, or I want to be more productive, or I should vote, and transforms them into a concrete plan of action. And this is pretty cool because, like I said, for myself, I'm trying to get back into the groove of working out. So I've gone as far as saying that little gap of time between the kids going to school and me doing this live session with y'all, that's the gap of time that I'm going to go to the gym. Now, the next step that I would have to consider are the times that maybe I'm not able to go to the gym. So instead of saying, okay, if I don't go to the gym, I'm going to work out some other time of the day, right? I could be a lot more specific and say, well, if for whatever reason I can't physically go to the gym and I'm stuck at home for whatever reason, I could be specific and say, I'm going to work out in the upstairs studio around noon, right? Versus saying, well, if I don't go to the gym, I'll do some workout, some home workout somewhere, sometime at home. Hi, in Africa. Welcome. So hopefully y'all are kind of considering or thinking about how to implement, these ideas or the suggestions in the book, right? So many people think they lack motivation when what they really lack is clarity. It is not always obvious when and where to take action. Some people spend their entire lives waiting for the time to be right to make an improvement. That's true. Again, when we have such vague goals, they're less likely to happen. If we're just like leaving it up to chance, like, whenever I feel like it, I'll get to it. But I want to do it. I want to get this done. I want to achieve this goal. Again, boiling it down to common sense of the specifics will help push you. And I like how they broke it down, even saying that it's not about the motivation, like you're not motivated to get it done or you're just constantly failing at getting it done. You probably just don't have a clear plan to get it done. Once an implementation intention has been set, you don't have to wait for inspiration to strike. Do I write a chapter today or not? Do I meditate this morning or at lunch? When the moment of action occurs, there is no need to make a decision. Simply follow your predetermined plan. So again, if you have that plan, it takes away the thought process of trying to plan it in the moment, as opposed to if you had that ahead of time, you're just gonna get it done, most likely. The simple way to apply this strategy to your habits is to fill out this sentence. I will blank action at blank time in blank location. The specifics. What the action is, when the action is, and where the action is. So super specific, right? So some examples coming up here. Meditation. That is something that I need to incorporate into my life too. Right now, again, I leave it up to chance where I'm like, okay, well, I'm laying in bed, I'm about to go to sleep, I'm kind of awake, maybe I'll meditate. But most of the time I don't think that far into it, and then maybe I don't do it, So, meditation. I will, these are the examples of the specifics, the implementation intentions, right? So if the goal was to meditate, I will meditate for 1 minute at 7 a.m. in my kitchen. Studying, so maybe you need to study more, whatever. I will study Spanish for 20 minutes at 6 p.m. in my bedroom. Exercise, I will exercise for 1 hour at 5 p.m. in my local gym. Marriage. I will make my partner a cup of tea at 8 a.m. in the kitchen. So for myself, I'm going to write this down while I have it on the top of my mind, because like I said, I want to incorporate meditation for myself. As far as exercise, not only do I want to work out and weight lift, in the gym, but I do want to add and incorporate yoga, just because I'm getting older and my body's starting to feel real crickety. So I need to start incorporating yoga. And I also, along fitness, I want to add more pole fitness. So we installed a pole, in one of the rooms, and I enjoy it. It's fun, and I just have found that I just haven't had the time to do it, So I'm going to be specific in that. What did I say? Gym, as far as weightlifting, yoga, and pole fitness. I also want to do more with my music. I need to make more time for writing music and practicing the guitar. And let me say, I don't want y'all to overwhelm yourself with all these goals. So even me, right now, I'm writing all these things just so I can remember what I want to incorporate, what I want to work on. However, most likely I'm not going to do all these things at once. So you just kind of have to build upon certain habits. So for me, my first habit that I was working on was becoming more of a morning person. So I can check that off, and it does help because I have to be up now because of the kids going to school. And then the other habit from there was to do live reading. And not really live reading, but just reading in general. So this is kind of two birds with one stone as far as live reading, or reading, but doing it live with y'all. So I'm also kind of creating content and being productive on that aspect. And now now that I feel like I've been pretty consistent with that, I can pat myself on the back as far as avoiding excuses. Like even yesterday, I was running late. So even though I failed to get on here at 10 a.m. like I wanted to, I was still able to get on here around 11. As opposed to saying, oh, I'm running late, or I got other things going on, I'm just not gonna do it. I sucked it up and showed up and did it. And now I can take pride in that, I can say I've been consistent. I haven't missed my days yet. So morning, doing my live reading or reading daily. Now I'm going to incorporate going to the gym. And I'll even be more specific, not necessarily going to the gym, but working out during that period of time, right? So once I can do that consistently for a little bit of time and I start making it a habit, or at least part of my routine, then I can slowly start adding all those other things. It's all about making it very doable. Otherwise, you'll get discouraged if it's so overwhelming and difficult, and then you fail like the first day or two, right? So you want to build on the small things. Even in the example they gave us with meditation, it said, I'll meditate for 1 minute at 7 a.m. in my kitchen. So that's a lot more doable than starting right off the bat from never meditating to, I'm going to meditate an hour every day. You can be highly ambitious, but you also don't want to set yourself up for failure. So, okay. If you aren't sure when to start your habit, try the first day of the week, month, or year. And lucky for y'all, today is the first day of the month, so that's exciting, right? I like to celebrate and romanticize some of the smallest things. So for me, it's exciting, first day of the month or first day of the week, or, even the beginning of any day. I try to romanticize it to think that's another chance to start something new. Kind of like how exciting, or how people approach New Year's. It's a whole new year, brand new, what do they say? New year, new me. Well, you don't have to wait for 365 days to pass to say that. You could say new week, new me, new day, new me, whatever. Just remember, we're constantly evolving and we constantly have the gift to change and to improve anytime, whenever. You can say, new hour. It's a new hour. I could start now. You know what I mean? Thank you for the follow, Sean. And thank you for the likes, Andrew. If you aren't sure where to start, try the first day of the week, month, or year. People are more likely to take action at those times because hope is usually higher. If we have hope, we have a reason to take action. A fresh start feels motivating. So, like I was saying, technically now. So, you don't have to wait for the new year or the next week or anything. Just consider it a gift that you have the chance to start at any time. There is another benefit to implementation intentions. Being specific about what you want and how you will achieve it helps you say no to things that derail your progress, distract your attention, and pull you off course. We often say yes to little requests because we're not clear enough about what we need to be doing instead. When your dreams are vague, it's easy to rationalize little exceptions all day long and never get around to the specific things you need to do to succeed. Give your habits a time and a space to live in the world. The goal is to make the time and location so obvious that with enough repetition, you get an urge to do the right thing at the right time, even if you can't say why. As the writer Jason Zwig noted, obviously, you're never going to just work out without conscious thought. But like a dog salivating at a bell, maybe you start to get antsy around the time of day you normally work out. There are many ways to use implementation intentions in your life and work. My favorite approach is one I learned from Stanford professor B.J. Fogg, and it is a strategy I refer to as habit stacking. So I feel like the habit stacking is kind of like what I just said as far as starting with one habit, kind of, taking pride in the fact that you can even do that for a few days before you add and build up on that habit. So yeah, let's see. Exactly. So I'll read that out loud. So one thing, okay. So when I said I was like uploading the live sessions onto YouTube, one thing I did notice is like the comments and things don't show up on the video. So sometimes like I was looking at the videos and it just looks like I'm just doing this. Just imagine there's nothing down there and I'm just like doing this because I'm reading. But in the video, you can't see what I'm reading. So now I took note and I'm like, I gotta read some of the comments out loud. So you said, that's true. In that way, your habits become natural and you don't feel like you're forcing yourself to. Exactly. So the earlier chapters, it was kind of defining pretty much what habit is. And initially building the habit, it does take work. It does require you to be mindful and intentional in building that habit or breaking that habit. But by definition, once it is an actual habit, you're on autopilot and you're actually relieving your brain from thinking it through or thinking, of having to do it and, that it feels like a chore or something new you're trying to work into your life. Because like you said, it just becomes natural. It becomes automatic. It's kind of like part of your identity. It's just something that you just do without thought, and it becomes easier. So more likely to stick because it's just who you are and what you do. So, but it is good to take time to be mindful. And this is what we talked about yesterday. I believe it was called, give me a second. The habit scorecard. And that's just taking the time to be mindful of what your current habits are, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether they're neutral. Everything you're doing without thought is technically a habit. So you got to know what it is you're working with before you can understand what you need to break or what you need to build. Because if it's natural, just like a car, if a car is on autopilot, it's going in one direction or another. So you want to make sure that it's automatically going in the right direction and not on autopilot going off a cliff or, yeah. So, the benefit of being mindful and knowing what habits you're building is that it does become natural, that it does become a part of your identity, a part of who you are, and that it's just easier, Okay. Habit stacking, a simple plan to overhaul your habits. The French philosopher Denis Diderot lived nearly his entire life in poverty, but that all changed one day in 1765. Diderot's daughter was about to be married and he could not afford to pay for the wedding. Despite his lack of wealth, Diderot was as well known for his role as the co-founder and writer of Encyclopedia, one of the most comprehensive encyclopedias of the time. When Catherine the Great, the Empress of Russia, heard of Diderot's financial troubles, her heart went out to him. She was a book lover and greatly enjoyed his encyclopedia. She offered to buy Diderot's personal library for 1,000, I don't know what that currency is called, but 1,000, which is equivalent to more than $150,000 today. Suddenly, Diderot had money to spare. With his new wealth, he not only paid for the wedding, but also acquired a scarlet robe for himself. Diderot's scarlet robe was beautiful. So beautiful, in fact, that he immediately noticed how out of place it seemed when surrounded by his more common possessions. He wrote that there was no more coordination, no more unity, no more beauty between his elegant robe and the rest of his junk. Diderot soon felt the urge to upgrade his possessions. He replaced his rug with one from Damascus. He decorated his home with expensive sculptures. He bought a mirror to place above the mantel and a better kitchen table. He tossed aside his old straw chair for a leather one. Like falling dominoes, one purchase led to the next. Diderot's behavior is not uncommon. In fact, the tendency for one purchase to lead to another one has a name: the Diderot effect. That's good to know, because especially like for myself, I won't say that I suffer from it, but I'll just say that I used to suffer from retail, no, I guess what do I call it? That I just had a bad habit with retail therapy. So the Diderot effect, you buy one thing, it feels good, and then you just kind of go down this rabbit hole and you want to buy this, and now you need something for that, so you buy this, and then that thing requires this, the Diderot effect. The Diderot effect states that obtaining a new possession often creates a spiral of consumption that leads to additional purchases. You can spot this pattern everywhere. You buy a dress and have to get new shoes and earrings to match. You buy a couch and suddenly question the layout of your entire living room. You buy a toy for your child and soon find yourself purchasing all of the accessories that go with it. It's a chain reaction of purchases. Okay. Many human behaviors follow this cycle. You often decide what to do next based on what you have just finished doing. Going to the bathroom leads to washing and drying your hands, which reminds you that you need to put the dirty towels in the laundry, so you add laundry detergent to the shopping list, and so on. No behavior happens in isolation. Each action becomes a cue that triggers the next behavior. So I'm sure you kind of know where this is leading to as far as habits, right? Why is this important? When it comes to building new habits, you can use the connectedness of behavior to your advantage. One of the best ways to build a new habit is to identify a current habit you already do each day and then stack your new behavior on top. This is called habit stacking. So, habit stacking is a special form of an implementation intention. Rather than pairing your new habit with a particular time and location, you pair it with a current habit. This method, which was created by Ch.5 as part of his Tiny Habits program, can be used to design an obvious cue for nearly any habit. So obviously, I mean, you can see the positive of that, right? Like if you build one habit and kind of build off of that, and hopefully you're adding on to or complementing it with more good habits. But obviously that can also apply to bad habits. One bad habit could lead to another bad habit, to another bad habit. So you got to be mindful of what you're building on. Fogg's habit stacking formula is: after I, current habit, I will, new habit. For example, meditation. After I pour my cup of coffee each morning, I will meditate for 1 minute. Okay, so that's kind of like you associate one habit with another. So if you're trying to meditate, for example, or incorporate that, if your regular habit is grabbing coffee and you sit around and maybe you're checking your phone, maybe if you already have that habit of getting coffee every day, you can associate your new habit of meditating with that. So it kind of triggers the new habit. Exercise. After I take off my workout shoes, I will immediately change into, after I take off my work shoes, I will immediately change into my workout clothes. So that's kind of, it seems simple enough, but it's doable, right? You are always going to have to take your work shoes off. And maybe if you associate that and, the next step is you just put on workout shoes, you're just naturally it's going to naturally lead you to actually working out, pretty much. But again, it's less overwhelming to be like, oh, my goal is just to put on workout clothes as opposed to I'm going to work out. So it's just that small habit of putting workout shoes that will naturally lead to the actual working out. But mentally, it seems a lot less daunting, less overwhelming to be like, every day I'm going to put on workout shoes. That sounds a lot more doable, especially if you've never worked out in your life, as opposed to every day I'm going to have this hardcore 1 hour workout. You know what I mean? Gratitude. After I sit down to dinner, I will say one thing I'm grateful for that happened today. That's a good habit, right? And a good doable habit to even incorporate into your life. Marriage. After I get into bed at night, I will give my partner a kiss. Safety. After I put on my running shoes, I will text a friend or family member where I am running and how long it'll take. The key is to tie your desired behavior into something you already do each day. Once you have mastered this basic structure, you can begin to create larger stacks by chaining small habits together. This allows you to take advantage of the natural momentum that comes from one behavior leading into the next, a positive version of the Diderot effect. So like I said, the Diderot effect, it can be good or bad. Good, that it's a positive chain of reaction, that one thing leads to another, to another, to another. Or if you're not mindful, you could have a bad habit and that can spiral off to the next bad habit, the next bad habit. Good morning, Army Vet. Welcome, welcome. I agree when it comes to gratitude. I mean, I'm a big believer when it comes to the law of attraction. And if you're constantly mindful and taking notice of things to be thankful for that you already have in your life, that really does bring in just more of that. What you're grateful for and why. I like that because that does take a little extra mental step, and it kind of solidifies okay, I'm thankful for all these things. But when you take the next step of, I'm thankful for this because blah, 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 it does kind of drive it, a little deeper into your spirit. So that's true. I'm going to do more of that. Not because I feel like I'm pretty grateful. I feel like I'm pretty mindful of that. But, just taking the step of really, I guess, I'm explaining why, right? The why of why I'm grateful of something. Okay, positive version of Diderot effect. Your morning routine habit stack might look like this. After I pour my morning cup of coffee, I will meditate for 60 seconds. So again, something easy peasy that already exists. You already have the habit of grabbing coffee, maybe. Maybe that's, your regular habit. And then incorporating the 60-second meditation right after that. Seems doable, right? After I meditate, so now we're about to stack onto that. After I meditate for 60 seconds, I'll write my to-do list for the day. Okay. After I write my to-do list for the day, I will immediately begin my first task. Or consider this habit stacking in the evening. After I finish eating dinner, I will put my plate directly into the dishwasher. That's something I have to like get the kids into the habit of, just because, like, for example, my oldest, he does the dishes, and I try to explain to him why, like, I clean regularly or consistently, because I'm not trying to let it pile up. So for him, when it comes to dishes, it would be a lot easier if it was more immediate, instead of, because it, putting away one dish and that accumulating, and now all your dishes happen to be put away, versus stacking them all up all dirty and then having to put them away. It's just a little more difficult and more of a chore and more of a hassle. So the whole point is you want to make things pretty much easy. You just want to work efficiently. That's the whole point of habits. Just like we talked about earlier, it should become natural, where it's an easy thing. Initially it is, you have to be mindful, but again, the goal of and the benefit of habits is that it should make your life easier. You should develop certain habits that just make your life like a well-oiled machine. Okay, so the habit stacking of the evening. After I finish eating dinner, I'll put the plate directly into the dishwasher. After I put the dishes away, I'll immediately wipe down the counter. After I wipe down the counter, I'll set out my coffee mug for tomorrow morning. So again, it's just making everything a well-oiled machine, easy peasy. You do one thing, and then naturally you just do the next thing and the next thing, and then without even thinking, all of that cleaning and whatever was done, right? You can also insert new behaviors into the middle of your current routines. You can also insert new behaviors, okay. For example, you may already have a morning routine that looks like this. You wake up, make your bed, take a shower. Let's say you want to develop the habit of reading more each night. You can expand your habit stack and try something like wake up, make my bed, place a book on my pillow, then take a shower. So again, even in that stack or in that new habit of placing the book on the pillow, it doesn't seem that overwhelming. I'm sure it takes a split second to throw a book on your pillow. But again, it's that one easy step that will lead to just the next, obvious step of after your shower and you're going to go to lay down, the book's on your pillow, so you're more likely to at least read something, whether it's a paragraph, a chapter, whatever. Overall, habit stacking allows you to create, take a shot. Now, when you climb into bed each night, a book will be sitting there waiting for you to enjoy. Overall, habit stacking allows you to create a set of simple rules that guide your future behavior. It's like you always have a game plan for which action should come next. Once you get comfortable with this approach, you can develop general habit stacks to guide you whenever the situation's appropriate. So, exercise. When I see a set of stairs, I'll take them instead of using the elevator. Social skills. When I walk into a party, I'll introduce myself to someone I don't know yet. I feel like that's something I need to work on. My social skills. Believe it or not. I mean, I'm friendly and I get along with people, but sometimes it's just very uncomfortable for me. And this is actually kind of why I'm even doing these live readings and, chatting with y'all, interacting with y'all, is so I can get into the habit of just being a little bit more talkative, so that in real life situations, it'll be more natural and easier for me. Just because I don't really like small talk, which I don't know if I've mentioned to y'all. So with all this practice with live readings and interacting with y'all, I am going to start a podcast. So I'll let y'all know when that pops off, but it's probably starting this weekend or next weekend. We already have the equipment and everything. So that's kind of exciting. It's a challenging thing for myself. So I'll keep y'all posted on that. Okay, I'll check. Okay, so you posted it. I will definitely check it out. Let me see. I'm going to take a note of that because obviously I'm going to miss out, you know, as these comments and things come in by the time I'm done reading. So I'm going to write that so I can remember to check it out. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. Okay, so exercise. Oh, I was talking about the social skills. I went off on tangents. Okay, social skills. When I walk into a party, I will introduce myself to someone I don't know yet. So that's something I can work on. And it's just introducing. It's not even saying I'm going to have this full-blown conversation, but it's literally to say, hey, I'm Ellie Mae. What's your name? So I think that's doable. I feel confident that's something I could do, you know? Finances. When I want to buy something over $100, I'll wait 24 hours before purchasing. Healthy eating. When I serve myself a meal, I'll always put veggies on my plate first. Minimalism. When I buy a new item, I'll give away something. One in, one out. Just so, you know, to avoid being a hoarder, right? Or just getting, you know, caught up with consumerism even. Mood. When the phone rings, I will take one deep breath and smile before answering. That's, you know, I do believe that you can hear somebody smiling, you know, their mood, their attitude. So that's a nice little thing to consider. Forgetfulness. When I leave a public place, I will check the table and chairs to make sure I didn't leave anything behind. No matter how you use this strategy, the secret to creating a successful habit stack is selecting the right cue to kick things off. Unlike an implementation intention, which specifically states the time and location for a given behavior, habit stacking implicitly has the time and location built into it. When and where you choose to insert a habit into your daily routine can make a big difference. If you're trying to add meditation into your morning routine, but mornings are chaotic and your kids keep running into your room, then that may be the wrong place and time. Consider when you are most likely to be successful. Don't ask yourself to do a habit when you're likely to be occupied with something else. So that just means don't set yourself up for failure. Like, have some common sense of saying like, okay, well, I am trying to get this done, so try to find where in your day that actually fits. Don't make it hard on yourself. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you. Yeah, don't make it so hard for yourself. Don't set yourself up for failure. We want to make everything very doable so that it can actually stick, right? Your cue should also have the same frequency as your desired habit. If you want to do a habit every day, but you stack it on top of a habit that only happens on Mondays, that's not a good choice. One way to find the right trigger for your habit stack is by brainstorming a list of your current habits. You can use your habit scorecard from the last chapter as a starting point. Alternatively, you can create a list with 2 columns. In the first column, write down the habits you do each day without fail. For example, getting out of bed, take a shower, brush your teeth, get dressed, brew a cup of coffee, eat breakfast, take the kids to school, start the workday, eat lunch, end the workday, change out of work clothes, sit down for dinner, turn off the lights, get into bed. So those are all, like I said, everything you do in your day, technically those are habits. So with the habit scorecard, you're writing down all the mundane things that you actually do every day. And then from that list, you want to plug in the new little habit you're trying to add into it, right? So like getting out of bed. If you're going to stack something, you're always going to get out of bed. So what happens right after that, right? Your list can be much longer, but you get the idea. In the second column, write down all the things that happen to you each day without fail. For example, the sun rises, you get a text message, the song you're listening to comes to an end, the sun sets. Armed with these two lists, you can begin searching for the best place to layer your new habit into your lifestyle. So again, you want to make it easy. You're starting off with your current habits, and then you're building off from there. Habit stacking works best when the cue is highly specific and immediately actionable. Many people select cues that are too vague. I made this mistake myself. When I wanted to start a push-up habit, my habit stack was, when I take a break from lunch, I will do 10 push-ups. At first glance, this sounded reasonable, but soon I realized the trigger was unclear. Would I do my push-ups before I ate lunch? After I ate lunch? Where would I do them? After a few inconsistent days, I changed my habit stack to, when I close my laptop for lunch, I will do 10 push-ups next to my desk. Ambiguity gone. So like I said, you have to be specific, because at first glance, the whole, during lunch or around lunch, I'm gonna do push-ups. But are you really gonna do push-ups in the middle of Ch.5 if that's where you're having lunch? You know what I mean? So you wanna be super specific and avoid the excuses of, oh, I was gonna do it, but I was rushing to get my lunch, and then I had to eat it real fast, and I had to go back to work, and now you didn't do it. As opposed to, like, this one, this example was saying, okay, well, if you're about to go to lunch, you're wrapping it up at work, you're turning off or shutting down your computer, do it then. So be specific, as opposed to setting yourself up to failure where you're rushing, and like I said, I doubt that you're gonna do push-ups in the middle of a drive-through, right? Habits like read more or eat better are worthy causes, but these goals do not provide instruction on how and when to act. Be specific and clear. After I close the door, after I brush my teeth, after I sit down at the table, the specificity is important. The more tightly bound your new habit is to a specific cue, the better the odds are that you will notice when the time comes to act. The first law of behavior change is to make it obvious. Strategies like implementation intentions and habit stacking are among the most practical ways to create obvious cues for your habits and design a clear plan for when and where to take action. So, as I always said, like this book, it's about habits, and it seems so common sense, but it is breaking it down so that it is easy and doable. So again, I like how it broke it down, like if we were just talking about habits and I said, okay, well, be specific, you could, like the example was, do a little workout around lunch, but we don't think about how specific is, right? So I think it was really helpful. And I'm also going to try to do the whole habit scorecard for myself, because I had all these other things that I want to incorporate into my life, and different habits I want to add into my life. And how are you going to add into it if you don't know what your current day and habits and routine even is? So that's step one. And then the habit stacking is just a strategy, pretty much, of how to squeeze in something. Again, you don't want to overwhelm yourself and you have an already busy day and you want to start working out and you're saying, okay, I'm going to work out an hour a day, because it's not likely to stick, and it's going to be very challenging where it might not even be doable. But if you broke it down as basic as that, as the other example was, after I take off my work shoes, I'm going to put on workout shoes, you're more likely to be in a position to actually work out. And once you start getting to the habit of at least putting on the workout shoes, then you can stack onto that and say, I am going to go to the gym at this time, or I'm going to do my workout in this room of my house at this time. So again, I love how common sense it can be and how basic it can seem, but how we can see that that's the best approach, is to make it very simple and very basic. and then build off from that. So that chapter kind of went by fast for me. I thought it was going to be longer, but I think we're getting a little bit into the groove of this live reading. Oh, and also for myself, just to be like relatable, and to have, you know, real world examples. So like I said, I wanted to do my live readings pretty much Monday through Friday around 10 o'clock. Now, things can happen, sure. So, you know, of course you have to have some flexibility. But I will say what has helped me stick to that is that I have set up my little spot here at this table, and I already have like my tripod and my book here and my notebook. So it makes it a lot easier for me just to kind of show up and do this, as opposed to, oh, it's 10 o'clock. Let me go grab, let me find my charger. Where's the book? The kids do, you know what I mean? But if it's already set up, it makes it a lot easier for me just to show up and avoid excuses, you know? Oh, okay. I told myself I'm going to read comments out loud so it makes sense when I upload it to the YouTube. I've been away from TikTok for a bit, but it's great to see you're still doing live readings. I've missed them. Thank you. Like I said, for me, I was gone too for a while. I fell off. I didn't do it. I actually just started back into my groove of live reading literally last Friday. So we're kind of back at the same time. So we're at the chapter summary. The first law of behavior change is make it obvious. The two most common cues are time and location. So that's the part of making it specific and obvious, is having the I'm going to do this at this time at this place. Creating an implementation intention is a strategy you can use to pair a new habit with a specific time and location. The implementation intention formula is I will blank behavior at blank time in blank location. Habit stacking is a strategy you can use to pair a new habit with a current habit. So again, if your regular habit is that you have your coffee, you know, in the morning before you go to work and you're trying to meditate, you could say after your coffee or even before your coffee, you would meditate for 60 seconds. So the coffee part, that's already happening every day. That's already a habit that exists that you don't think of. It's not a chore. It's not hard. It's just part of your day, right? And now you're more likely to just stack or add a little extra oomph to that current habit, which is meditate or whatever, you know. So that's just an example. And the habit stacking formula is after I, current habit, like drink coffee, I will, new habit, meditate for whatever. So, well, that's cool. That was a very practical chapter. And again, lots of friendly reminders and even, you know, the strategies and how to go about them. So, I think I'm getting a little better at these live readings as far as getting through them in a timely manner. So yesterday it was a short chapter, and because I was working on uploading it, it was about 45 minutes, which I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, because when I first started, like last week, I was on here for like 2.5 hours. So once you build a habit, again, it should become a lot smoother. You're a lot more efficient. So I'm pretty excited that even though I thought this chapter was going to be longer, I was able to kind of get through it. We were still able to chat a bit, and it was within a reasonable amount of time. No, thank y'all. Thank y'all for yet another positive, great session. Thank y'all for contributing to the conversation, for good vibes, for hanging out with me. Whether or not we have, you know, a handful of people, nobody here, 1 million people here, I still am benefiting, obviously, from reading and just interacting with y'all, whether it's 1 or 1 million of y'all. And honestly, I like the fact that we're building even our, you know, I feel like there are the regulars that we're having our regular people come in, just because I'm still working on it as far as how I present the books and how I read the books and how I handle the comments and everything. So I'm still working on that. But I think we're getting better, and I think it's all good. So, like I said, I am uploading everything onto YouTube. I think I've uploaded already up to chapter 3 or 4. So you can catch that or catch up if you want, or rewatch what we discussed on YouTube. I'm still trying to make it easier to find, because apparently if you search Maymay TV, other channels pop up and whatever. So, but I think if you still search it, you'll find me, you'll see me. But I have to like maybe fix the settings or something. I don't know. So it's easier to just say, hey, youtube.com/MaymayTV. But that's not the case yet. So I have to fix that. But like I said, I'm uploading all the chapters and the whole live sessions onto YouTube. And I will catch y'all tomorrow around 10 again. So thanks for hanging out. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.